the webinar is being recorded. So and then we'll make sure to send that recording to you. Usually we upload it to YouTube within a day or so. So you should have that information, within a day, maybe two at the most. But you'll be able to review everything at that point, or if you missed it or had to jump out for any reason. So with that, actually a little bit more preface here. Any questions? If you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to throw those questions into the little questions box, and I'll address those questions as they come in. If it's something that isn't related to a tab that we're looking at, then I'll probably wait until we get to that tab or that topic. But definitely feel free to throw your questions out there, and we prefer to have these webinars be kind of a free-form ideas, questions, so on. There are a lot of things that people have in their heads and may not, when you pose a question, it helps everyone understand a little bit more about the product and helps them vocalize that. So the other thing is that if you don't want that question shared with everybody, then let me know when you post the question. Most people seem to be okay with just sharing everything. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. And I'll start out with the dashboard. And this is the main page. This is the page that you arrive at when you first log in. There's actually a couple of links that you get when you first sign up for IDX Broker. It's the dashboard link, and then also there's a page links tab, page links area. Now the page links area and tab is really where you pull all of the page links for IDX Broker, and you basically everything when you get the product and you get the login information, all these page links will match the look and feel of your website. So what we do is we take just from a high-level perspective to give you an understanding. For those of you who may not understand how IDX Broker works, it's an integrated IDX. And so we host everything on IDX Broker servers, and then we take this information, HTML, CSS, all of your content, design, all of that, and wrap it around these pages. And we have a number of we call them system links, that do various things. And then you also have the capability of building custom links, and I'll get into that a little bit later. You can build widgets with results and then embed those directly in your own page if you'd like to do that. And again, I'll get into that as well. Those are all features within every IDX Broker account. So each account gets that set of features. So I won't spend a tremendous amount of time with those features, and I'll jump right into some of the Office features, just so I can make sure that you're seeing everything that's possible with IDX Broker, and especially with these, some of the lead routing features and agent bio pages and so on. So just starting out though on this page and from this page, you have a page at the bottom called a roster page, and what this is this is a page that's dynamically created for you. So it's a system link, and you enter the agent information into IDX Broker, and then this page is dynamically generated. Now, if I click through here to Office of Awesomeness, these agents, as you can see, are assigned to that office, and so when I click on that page, it doesn't appear to change here because there's only one office. But let's say if you had 2, 3, 4 offices, the offices would show up at the top, and then you could click on the office, and it would go straight into listing all the agents within that office. So, and all of that, like I said, all of it is dynamically generated. So you don't have there isn't a lot of HTML or CSS or other work that you have to do to actually build those pages. They're built for you. All you have to do is enter the information for each agent and enter the information for each office, and that usually includes just the name, a photo and phone number, and then a contact link potentially, maybe their website address, something along those lines, and then any languages that they speak. So the other thing you can do is you can customize this page, just like any page in the system. You can customize it with a subheader. You can customize the wrapper and have a different. We call it a wrapper. This concept of having integrated IDX, where we take your design in. So you can customize that page and still have it dynamically generated from the content. So let's jump right into the content now and take a look at how that works. So here we have, let's say you're just getting started. You would add an office. So here we have offices, and we've already created an office. But let's say if you wanted to add another office, you could just come in here and fill in the office area, office tab, upload a photo of the office, and then you can add an office subheader. And there's a WYSIWYG editor here. What you see is what you get editor. And that allows you to customize, really customize that page without knowing a lot of HTML or CSS. So pretty helpful. And then you can change the office priority. And what that does is that'll change the ranking of the office on the roster page. So that page that I showed you earlier that has a list of offices, it would move, if you set the office priority to 0, it would move that to the top, that office to the top of the list. And it would be 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So here you have manage offices, and again, I won't get into too much of those details, but we have agents, and each agent can be assigned to an office. So, and in fact, you can have agents assigned to multiple offices. So here we have one office. I can choose to deselect that office, and then that one click basically changes the roster page and how the roster page is displayed. Now, let's say this agent is, they're tied to 2 offices. I could choose this office of awesomeness and then another office, whatever other office I've created there, and it will show up in both offices. So just reviewing this page, one of the things you can do here is you can rank the user basically. So you have management, which shows up at the top of the roster page, and then you have agent, broker, and then you have staff. And and then what that does is it determines where the agent is going to show up on the roster page. Now, and then here we have known languages, and you can put whatever you'd like here, and then that just, anytime somebody, if you have a lot of agents and you want people to be able to drill down, let's go back to that page, drill down to a specific language, you can have that available in the drop-down. Okay. All the contact information for the agent, and then the photo, and you can upload the photo. You could also use your own URL if you want to host it on your own. And then here we have the membership ID. Now this is critical because the membership ID basically gives you the ability to display the listings for that agent automatically on the featured agent page. So if we go back, let me just open another tab here. And actually what I'll do is scroll down to the bottom, and I'll just open the bio. So this is her bio, and then down below here, see, this is a just kind of placeholder text for the agent's description, the description and where they focus their efforts, what they know, and so on. And then down here you have the listings. So the agent's listings are all available down here. Now, you'll note that all of this is dynamic, so this is automatic. This can be turned off if you don't want the map. That's easy to do. If I click on this page, oh, it looks like it's set up with lead capture. But if I click on this page and then I go to the details page, you'll see that the example agent, this agent's bio information, is showing up automatically in the details page. And that is done by our system, and it's automatic. And it's based on we just tie the agent ID to the featured listing ID and then display it when they match. So that's automatic. All you have to do is add like I said, in here, the membership ID for the agent. So let's go close this window. So that's really how that works, and then we'll go back here. So that's how the membership ID works. That's basically it allows you to you know, tie everything in, and then that gets updated every single day. So the agent will always have the latest listings available there. The other thing that does, also, I should note, the other thing that does is if you have lead capture on and lead routing, and I'll get into lead routing in a little bit later, if you have lead routing on, if somebody contacts or wants more information about this agent's listing, it will always go to this agent. So there will never be any confusion there. You won't have anything. You won't have lead routing redirecting leads to the wrong agent or to the non-listing agent. You'll always get it out to the listing agent. Here we have the, you have some various options like redirect to the personal website, clickable link on the bio page. Do you want to show the agent in the drop-down selector? So that's if you have the drop-down list selected on. Some people like to have that for the end user, the visitor to the site, because when they sign up, they can then choose an agent if they're working with somebody already. So this would just enable that. And I believe this is on by default. And then you have the agent's website address and then the text that you want to display there. So you have a lot that you can do without knowing or without having to edit HTML directly. And then here you have a username, and then you can create a password. And this is a powerful feature. This is the CC on email. So each agent has the ability to receive a summary of all the emails that are sent out for their leads. So somebody has set up a safe search, and they're assigned, that lead is assigned to this agent. The agent will then, every day that happens, they'll get a summary, and assuming that they've entered their email correctly up here, right here, then they'll receive a summary email that lists all the activity that went out that day. So you're giving them kind of a really sort of a stripped down light version of IDX and IDX broker, and I'll log in a minute and show you how that works. But you're basically giving them those features, but retaining them on your site. So you're encouraging them. You're giving them tools that will encourage them to send traffic to your website. Here we have just various settings like permission settings, fairly straightforward. Here we have, this is a URL that you can give to the agents, and you just copy and paste it into an email, send it to the agent, and say, hey, send anyone to this basic search page, or really it can be any search page in your system, any of those system links that you have. And if they append this information, this agent header ID URL code at the end of it, it's a little snippet of code that they can add to the end of it, that will assign that lead, unless that lead has already been previously assigned, it will assign that lead when they sign up, it will assign that lead to that agent. So the agents can go out and, they could put this in their footer, they could say, hey, go check out, let's say they don't have an IDX search of their own, or they want to use their office's IDX, and they've set up a subheader as well, and I'll show you as well how the subheader works. The subheader, the agent's subheader is actually tied into this, and what it does is it just gives them some way to provide that IDX, send traffic to your office, but keep that lead and keep it for themselves, and presumably they'll act on that. So once that lead information comes in, that traffic is then converted to a lead. And I'll get into the lead capture tools a little bit later, and we can discuss some of the options that you have there. But here we have a bio details page header, and then this is essentially the super agent information. Let's say, see if I go here, copy this, and just paste it into this toolbar here. Oh, there we go. So if I go in here now, you can see that super agent shows up at the top, and that tells me that, okay, now if I do a search, then I'm going to be assigned to super agent. I'm going to be assigned to this agent, example agent 1. So any listings that any search that I perform, and then if I perform a search and then I go through and I want, let's say I want to save a property and it asks me to sign up, in this case I can sign up here, I will be assigned automatically to this agent, and you can see from the subheader that that's the case. Now the other thing that happens is that the agent has the ability to customize this subheader, and they can put whatever they want up here, and you could even create a banner for each of your agents and have it match the width of the page. So I've got a little tool here that does that. It tells you the width. So let's say you want a banner that's 630 pixels. Have your in-house designer work on a little banner for each agent, or maybe do it with HTML. They could give you HTML and just paste that HTML in and then put it into each bio page and give your agents the link, and they'll love the fact that they'll have this branding up here, and in addition they'll have this co-branding down here. So if they send the lead to your site, so that encourages them to use your system for the IDX piece, and then presumably they'll then use the system and log in with the system and get a lot done that way. And I'll show you how the login works since we're done with the bio page here. So I'll go here. And let's say I want to, now that I've given example agent, agent 1, I've given them the information, I've given them a password and so on. Then I can log in and I can review how things look to them. So this is what the agents get. This is what you're able to give them. They have their own little agent app code, so they can enter this app code in and then promote that. They have this little widget where they can promote their app code. And basically what this does, it shows your agent or company name, and then actually it shows agent name here, and then company name is in the logo here, and then it's your company URL, and then it's the company phone number and email address. So the agents can go out and promote their own app that way. They can customize it as well. Now, in this case, I don't have any assigned leads. Let's say if I go back, I'll go back and just do a quick lead assignment here. I'll take Testerson and do a quick lead assignment. So I'll assign them to agent 1, the first agent. So notice as soon as I do this, I don't have access to that email, but as soon as I do that, that agent is actually going to receive an email on that assignment. So as soon as they're assigned, and then they can come in, oh, okay, I can log into my IDX, and now I can see my lead in there. I can see all the traffic history. Okay, here's what they're looking at. Let's take a look at the listing they looked at. It looks like this is an old one, so yeah, this is old traffic history. So, but I'll go through some new traffic history after I go through lead capture and just sign up and show you how that works. But so presumably this would be all new info, and then they could, the agent could even come in and log in and save a search for their new lead. They could save properties for their lead. They could see any notes on the lead. So they're getting a really kind of a light version of IDX Broker, and you're giving them that, presumably without charging them. It's just part of the services that you provide, the value that you can provide. And then the other thing we have is we actually have video training, and those of you that are interested in that, I can send that to you. It's basically I think 5 or 6 videos that walk the agent through each individual tab, and I think they're about 3 to 5 minutes each. So that's been pretty helpful and fairly popular. So here the agent can also modify their own active listings. So let's say the agent midday, they ended up closing a house, and the MLS data isn't updated for another day, and they want to change the price, and then they want to remove it from the featured listing page or something. So they could do that here in this page. They can also add photos. Presumably they would do that through the MLS, but sometimes it may be the photos may be entered into the MLS, but then it may be a case where you want this photo to show first, so you can do that. The agent can do that. The other thing they can do is they can add a virtual tour here. virtual tour link. Open house, they can set an open house, and if basically that shows up on the open house page, open houses page. And then if they have a downloadable PDF, a link, flyer, something along those lines, they can put that in here with the flyer text. So there's a lot of control you're giving the agent a lot of control here. What they don't have control over is your brokerage, information, your whole brokerage account, lead routing. They don't have any visibility into where leads that aren't theirs, where those leads are going, or any activity around those leads. So there's kind of a walled garden there for the agent. Now, I'll just leave the page and then go to the bio. So the agent can also come in and modify their own bio if you've given them that ability. And then they can actually modify the email update subheader as well, or a page header, and send themselves an example. So they can send an example of the email update that will go out based on whatever safe search they have set up for their accounts. This is really helpful because then it puts it in the agent's hands to, hey, go check out the traffic information, find out what the visitor, what the potential client is looking for, set up a safe search, and then presumably if you've tested the email updates, then all you have to do is do this once, style it up and do it once, and then it will be the same email update design for each lead that comes in. So once you've set this up as an agent, the email updates is really about 2 minutes of work looking at traffic, and then another 3 to 5 minutes of setting up some safe searches. It really is that simple. At the end of the day, it's just it's a matter of knowing the system and where to find those links. You could even bookmark the links, or the agents could bookmark the links. So definitely can create more potential and more engagement with those potential clients and buyers. So here they can do all their customization as well if you've given them that ability. And then they can change their password if for some reason they've lost their password, so that they don't have to they don't have to bother you to change that password. So, and then if they need help, they can always come up here, click on help, and then do a search and try to find information. Our knowledge base has a tremendous amount of information in it, and just is there's some very good use resources in here. And then it shows recent entries, featured articles, and then our support staff is available 8 to 5 during weekdays and that's 8 to 5 Pacific time. And we really pride ourselves on having one of the best support systems in place. We have both a very detailed knowledge base. We have active support, both via email. Our turnaround time is generally a couple of hours via email. Sometimes we don't always have the perfect answer for you right away, but we will definitely do our best to get back to you and get you the information that you need as quickly as possible. And then if you call us, you obviously can get through right away. There's generally no more than a 1 to 2 minute hold time, if at all. So that's one area where we do our best to help kind of guide the clients through this process, and especially when you first get in, there's a lot of information here. You may have questions, and you may have requests, things like that. We try to field those as quickly as possible. So let's go here. We've got manage users. That was I covered that for the most part, and then let's go to lead management and how that works. So lead management and contact routing. So there's a couple different ways to handle contact routing, or actually 3 different ways. You have disable. You can disable it, and what disabling does is it sends the lead to whatever you have set up as the primary email address on the account. So that basically is a scenario where you want to funnel everything through one person or one individual, and then that individual then distributes the leads to the agents. And that can also be done. You could have that. Now that doesn't prevent you from, or the agent from receiving emails when leads are assigned. So let's say I keep this disabled, I turn this off, the lead routing, and then I go into lead management and go into Testerson. And let's assume that this lead wasn't assigned to anybody, and I assign them manually to agent 2. Actually, I'm sorry. The reassignment is assigned to is set up under, so contact routing does have to be on for that to work. So in this case, what you'd have is with lead routing off, you have a complete lockdown. So there's no lead information goes out unless you have contact routing on. And so to turn contact routing on, you can just go, round robin, and you could even have no round robin set up. That's fine. It's set up that way by default. So just by having contact routing on, you would then be able to send those automatic emails would go out to the leads as you assign them. The disabled assumes that you don't want anything automatic to go out. It's basically, I want to take over everything when it comes to lead notification and lead assignment. Once you have round robin or core fields on, then you could leave either one blank and you've got contact routing on, and then that would send, anytime you assign a lead to an agent, it would send an email. Anytime you reassign a lead to a new agent, the email would go out to the new agent, but the previous agent wouldn't receive an email. So it's a fairly sophisticated lead control system. And then here you have round robin. So in this case, if I have agent 2 and agent 1 here, and you can see that agent 1 or agent is next in line, right? So they have a little asterisk there. That means that they're next in line to receive a lead. So if I go here, go back to my page links, and I'll show you a nice little form here that a lot of people don't know about. It's called the Email Update Signup tool. And so if I come in here, let me actually clear my cookies. So I'm clearing my cookies to explain this. I'm clearing my cookies because I've already been, in showing you the demo, I've already been cookied to an agent, and so I want to be able to remove that. And see, now I've removed that. So that's just for purposes of display here. So I do have a question here that came in. If an agent has a this is about subdomains. If an agent has a self-branded subdomain of the broker, that's fine. You can point to that subdomain. What that does is, and I know what you're referring to. So this is a scenario where you have your primary domain, and then you might have the agent name, and then your primary domain, and that's the subdomain. That's fine. They can display your widgets if you'd like. Everything just needs to be wrapped and designed for the main core site. So the core design has to match the look and feel of your website. Okay, so let's say this is your website. You couldn't have pages where that design was completely different and it was for a URL that wasn't officially approved for full IDX display. Now, we do have a program where if you're a brokerage and you want, let's say agents come to you and they say, well, I like the light version of IDX Broker, but I'd like to have something a little bit more and maybe manage things more on my own. You can actually act as a reseller for IDX Broker if they're willing to pay for those tools. So we can, those of you that are interested in that, you can just email us, send a reply email, and we can fill you in on those details. And then the other question related to that is, can each agent have a different requirement for when a prospect needs to require the registration? I think that one we may have to take offline. I don't fully understand the question, so we'll take that one offline. But definitely keep the questions coming. It it helps to bring those questions up because they're, I'm not always able to cover everything. So let's start out here. Go back here to just the sign up form. Now in this case, we've got a custom sign up form. So, and it looks like we need a little bit more customization on this, but we put an image in here, some custom text. And if I go back, I'll show you where that's done. Actually, I'll jump over to that and show you. Whoops. I cleared my cookies and I logged out. So let's get back to the demo. Offices and Teams. There we go. Okay, and then in the meantime, I had another question come in. That's good. So how much control do we have over HTML and CSS? Oh, and another question. Excellent. So how much control do we have over HTML and CSS? A tremendous amount, really. And that's, I think I'll have time to cover that. I'll try to save some time at the very end for that and show you the customization features. And then, are there website templates built in? Yes, and that's under customization as well, and I'll cover that a bit later as well. So let's go back to lead management and lead preferences. Take a look here. So here we have, looks like, interesting. Well, it looks like default, but it's or custom, but it's actually the default. So let's go ahead and fill this in. I'll fill this in with my info, and I'll show you how this works. So in this case, this form, is just, it's not forcing. It's only asking for first name, last name, and email address. You can customize that to really ask for anything. That's under custom lead form, and you can add or remove items here, and so on. So, and then lead registration preferences controls whether it, are you going to force password, that sort of thing, like password required on registration, optional, or you could just hide it. Phone number required, optional, or you can hide it. So some of those toggle options for that custom form are available here in the lead registration preferences. And then, so I've set up some preferences here. And anyway, let's go back to that sign up. So I fill this out, sign up, and now I'm going to go in as a new sign up, right? So I can bypass the link. I can, instead of waiting and doing the verification, I can just bypass it. Now, if I come in here, let's say I've just signed up, and the agent, you'll see that I'm here, and I'm assigned to example agent. Now the agent logs in. They get the notification. Whoops. They get the notification. They see here information. They can then come in and verify. So that lead doesn't have to validate themselves. They don't have to, let's say, okay, look, that's a valid email address. I know that's valid. I don't need the agent or the client to have to validate it to receive email updates. I know that it's valid. So the agent can come in here and just verify it. Now you can do the same thing as well. So you can do the same thing from your screen. You can verify that. So the other thing you can do is, now that it's a lead, you can save a search, save a property, and so on. Or if I'm the lead and I'm in here, let's say I want to go through search, or I want to go through, I like, let's say look for homes in Ashland, and I want to save that search. And in this case, it looks like it's, yeah. So now my search is saved, and I'm not sure why that. I think there's a cookie problem with my browser, but that search is now saved. And so if I go to my saved searches, now I have that info. I can name it, or I can just leave it as is, and then it will tell me, I can come back to this page, and I'll have a link to this page in my next email update. So I'll now get email updates for listings, and there were no listings today, but there might be tomorrow, and I'll receive as a lead that information, right? So the other thing I can do is I can save any properties. I can save properties or save searches. So perform a search now, and let's go to map search. I think I have to zoom out because I've got, there we go. So let's say I want to save this property. Now I have a saved property. Property was saved. Now I go to my saved properties, and there we go. So I can keep track of the properties that I like, and then I can set up those saved searches so that I get new properties and then can save them later. So, and this needs a little bit more customization, but again, that as I told you, that there's actually two ways to handle this. So if out of the box this is not working correctly, you can just email support and say, hey, for some reason this isn't looking good. If you work with one of our designers and you have an account through a designer, then you would contact the designer and then they would do the custom CSS. If you are a designer, then you would just go into custom CSS and style things up there. So I'll show you how that works in a minute. I just want to go through all the Office-specific features first. So that's the whole lead experience, and that's the lead assignment. And that's how that works. And let me just show you the verification. So here's an example verification email, and the agent has their own content here that shows up at the bottom. This could be wrapped, so this could be wrapped. In this case, it's not wrapped, but it can be wrapped to have design elements. And then the verification, the verification is not wrapped, but the email update is wrapped. And then the verification code is here, and then you click on the link and it will verify. So, but in most cases, most people that sign up won't need to do that because you can come in and do that yourself. You can just say, oh, that's a valid email. The point of verification is just to prevent spam emails from getting email updates and so on. So let's jump into widgets, take a look at that and how that works. So feature properties would feature all of your listings, all of your account listings, and then that would be updated every day. And that's something that you can change the column layout, the row layout, column layout. Let's say we want 3 and 3, so now it's 3 and 3, or 3 and 2, or 3 and 1 even. And then you can style the width even of this because there's CSS down here, or there's, this one doesn't display the CSS, but there's a, oh, I'm sorry, oh, there it is. Getting lost on some of these. So this is the CSS that you would use to identify and change the width or turn this into whatever you want. In some cases, you have there may be cases where you want a grid style. So if you're familiar with CSS and customization, you can do that change here, or you can just keep it as is. And all you have to do is plug this in to your website, and it'll display in any page on your site, and it'll point to it'll go directly to the listing page, right? So, and then it's a featured ID, so it's got the listing agent listed here. So the other option here is to feature an agent, and you can feature, it'll just rotate through the agents, and you can modify the CSS for that as well, so you can design that up, give it a little box shadow layout or borders or whatever you want, and you can do that here. Just pull that, and then it'll rotate through the agents. So that is those are most of the Office-specific features. Now I should show you. Actually, before I continue, I'll show you a little bit more about contact routing and explain that. Round robin is obvious. You have, it's based on, it's just going through and cycling through each agent, and each agent gets an equal shot, right? So as a new lead comes in, the lead gets assigned to that agent, and then the agent gets an equal shot. Now, one thing you can do with round robin is, or even core fields, is if you have that set up, you can set it up to oh, you know, I want my office or my office manager to receive an email as well. So you can set up a CC address for that person or for your office, and then that way anytime a new lead is assigned through the lead routing, that email address will be CC'd as well. So pretty helpful in terms of helping you kind of keep tabs on what's happening with the IDX. Here we have core fields, and core fields gives you the ability to you know, assign by city, zip, county. You know, you can select an agent and then choose a route for that agent, enable it. You can set a high price, low price. So let's say an agent focuses on a certain price range. You could choose multiple cities. You could hit submit, and then if any listings match that criteria, then the core fields will kick in, and then that lead will be routed to that particular agent. So yeah, so that's how that works. Or if you have agents working in different states, if you have a larger, slightly larger office, multiple offices, things like that. So there's a lot of control that you have here if you use it correctly. And then of course as I said, you can CC yourself so that you can see where those are going and manage those effectively. So let's take a look here. If you have any new leads, you can put them in here. If you're migrating from another system and you need to import leads, that is something we can do on a one-time basis for clients. So we can do a one-time import if that's something that's important to you. The other thing that's available, those of you that work with let's see, where is it? The lead registration preferences. Top Producer AI, if you have a CRM, you can put that in here and then set it up in the system, in their system. So, and then this is just the lead registration customization page. So this is where you would customize that aspect of it. So it looks like we have a little bit of time to cover some of the main issues. So if you have any general questions about IDX Broker, I would love to hear that now, and I'll start at the top and just address some of these questions that I see here posted. So the templates, let's take a look at that. So this is the templates tool, and what this does is it gives you a way to choose a template for a specific width. All you have to do is you can just click on the design, and it'll give you a close-up look. Those are all screenshots, so they're not live, but they're screenshots, but they give you a slightly bigger view of how that form's going to look. And then a couple map options, lots of results page options, and then, as I said, default width is fairly important, so you'll want to know the width of your page, and then choose a template based on that. And then the details page, lots of details page templates, and then just a few random templates down here. So there is a mortgage calculator as well, and with templates there as well. So another question to answer here. We've got oh, good, lots of questions coming in. Good. So HTML and CSS, can you modify that? Yes. Now HTML and to those of you with development background, the DOM cannot be modified. That's all hosted on our site. You can use JavaScript if you're very familiar with JavaScript and manipulating the DOM with JavaScript. You can certainly do that. We encourage you to stick with CSS for the most part for customization, and so you can identify items and modify them through the CSS for specific page types. Okay, so this allows you to modify each page type. So let's say I wanted the map search to be larger. Let's go to new search and map search. Let's say I have a full width page and I just want the map to be big. So I could come in here and drag this down, and I just need to identify the width, the actual width that I want, and then identify some of the elements. And again, this is for advanced users, and we for the map, for this example specifically, we have some tips that we can provide you. So if you contact support, we can give you some CSS that you could plug in to kind of help you get started. But you know, again, we can't provide custom CSS assistance. Our support staff can't. So if you have a good designer or you are a designer yourself, you'll want to look at just, you know, standard CSS to get that done. But and also look in some of this in the details here and identify how to change the width. So here you can see the map width container. It displays. There's a comment here to help you with the width, and then you just play around with it until you get that width in there. I would encourage you to do that first before contacting support. And then again, all these pages can be customized. You have other pages that can be where you can add custom CSS if you'd like. And you know, again, if you use a tool like Firebug, if you're talking about custom CSS, I would recommend a tool like Firebug. Firebug allows you to inspect elements. So you can see I'm hovering over this element. Okay, that's my search nav wrapper. And let's say I want to increase the width. I want to see how that looks if I change the width to 650 pixels. See, so my width changed. Or let's say 500. There's 500 pixels. So you can play around with, you know, with Firebug, you can play around with the CSS and see how it works even before you've entered it into the IDX broker system. So there's a lot to do there, a lot that you can do there if you download that. I think it's getfirebug.com is where you can get that tool. So those of you that are interested in tinkering around with it and customizing things. So let's go back. Let's see, we have another question here. Customizing, actually, that I sort of answered the customizing the map question. The customizing, again, the map, customizing the map can all be done here under custom CSS. And again, I would encourage you to, you know, to review the CSS first. We're not able to train people on CSS, and there's a lot of great resources online for, you know, those of you that want to do some deep level customization. But it does require some working knowledge of CSS in order to do that, to take it to that level. Now, the other thing is that if you're, let's say you really want to do some deep level customization, and you know that our support is not, we're not able to provide that directly, you could always contact one of our developer partners. And on our website, if you scroll down to the bottom, there's a developer link. And you can click on that link and get right to our developers. There's a list of developers at the bottom of that page. And you can contact one of those developers, and they can help you with some of the custom CSS stuff. So let's see. Another question we have here is is Google Street View available? And the answer is no on Street View. There is. Let's go back here. I believe that Bing has their own Street View. So if I go to Microsoft and then hit a search, go to a details page, and there's they call it the bird's eye view. Yeah, and I thought that they had a Street View as well. But it appears to be just the bird's eye view. So you can, I recommend Bing on these on the details maps. It's just really nice and little navigation. They've done a really good job with that. So that would be something you could choose on the details page, and you just go down to preferences and details page options, and you can turn that on. So the other thing you can do is walk score. If you like walk score, those of you that may be, you know, in cities or where people want to know that information, nearby information, that kind of thing. Information about resources nearby, I should say. And then, does IDX Broker work with WordPress? Definitely. IDX Broker includes, there's 2 WordPress plugins for IDX Broker, and all you have to do is enter your client ID number and your subdomain, and then there's another one that's available. It's available only in beta though, but you can check it out. If you go to wordpress.org and then go to plugins and search for IDX Broker, it should pop right up for you, and you can read some of the details on the plugin and how that works. But basically what the plugin does is it takes all of these links, these page links, go here, and pulls those links in by default into your navigation. And then the other thing that it does is it will take any custom links, or saved links, I should say. And I didn't cover this. This is an enormous feature, very important feature. Custom links allows you to build like custom maps, custom map searches with custom URLs. So I can say, you know, this is my area. I want to zoom in to the Cal Young area. And then I want to then save that search. I generate the URL first, and then I call it Cal Young. Whoops. And now I have Cal Young, right? And I go to that page, and there's a zoomed in map. So you can, these links are all available through WordPress, through the plugin. So as soon as you build a link, you just go into WordPress in your plugin page and you do an update, and it will pull that link in, and then you can just add that to your navigation. So pretty straightforward the way that works. It also adds a bunch of default widgets as well, custom slideshow widget, custom showcase widget, and you can create an unlimited number of these custom slideshows and showcases. The slideshow rotates through listings on, you know, just kind of fades in and out of the listings, and then the showcase displays the way the last showcase displays is just a, you know, grid, number of rows, number of columns, and it just shows a grid of properties based on whatever search criteria you set up. So one other area and one other page that I haven't had a chance to review with you here is the RMLS. In this case, we'll just choose RMLS, but the advanced search page. So you can customize the advanced search page from this link. This is from Customize and Advanced Search, and it allows you to, you know, you can modify the layout. You can change the type to a yes/no toggle. You should all be yes/no. So you can remove fields if you'd like. There's a tremendous amount that you can do with this, and you can do it for each property type. So just a lot of options there for customization. Does IDX Broker, here's another question, does IDX Broker have optional LCM technology? So I'm not familiar with the term LCM, but you described it well for me. Immediate user login required before using viewing IDX. Yes, it's not. It sounds like you're suggesting VAL possibly, but it's not VAL. We don't offer any VAL technology, but we do offer that lead registration rule where you could force on search pages. So if I force on search and I save this, and then I go back to a search page, it should send me, oops. Oh, it'll send me after I perform the search, it'll send me to a sign up link. Well, in this case it's not. It must be because I'm logged in, that's why. But it would send me to a sign up link on the search page. So you can do that under lead registration preferences. And then is there a way to set up a search page so that the map is on one side and the list of properties is on the other? That seems to be a common request. It is not something that's built into a template. And it sounds like that's more of kind of a results link. We don't have the on the page, you know, map on one side and details on another layout. But if you are a sophisticated designer, you can take this element, this map element, and you can basically move it with CSS off to the right and then have all the results up here. So if you don't know how to do that, I would recommend contacting one of our developers, and you could make that request, and they can do that. It's still a kind of a static results page, so it's not going to, you know, necessarily highlight each listing, but you'll have the map on the right, and it will. You can zoom in and you can move. You know, you can navigate with. Whoops, you can navigate this map, and then you know, have it refresh with new listings. So So another question here in regards to custom links. Neighborhood searches based on geography. So not based on lat and long, latitude and longitude, but you can have a custom link that's based on advanced search criteria. So in this case, I have, let's say I have a subdivision, Carrollwood, and I want to remove high price, low price. I generate the link, test the link in a new window, see if I have any results. Oh, there's one result. That's my new custom link, right? So, and that is only for that area. Now I can zoom in on the custom link, but the map area doesn't cover it. It's basically based on the criteria sent by the MLS. So whatever the subdivision is set up in the MLS, and then I would name that Carrollwood, and then and then save, and now I have Carrollwood. And that link would then show up in my, if I have WordPress, it would show up in my WordPress plugin. Okay. And then as you can see up here, it says Carrollwood. Now the other thing you can do with that page is you can make it search friendly. So I could come in here and type in a special link subheader. I could type in Carrollwood real estate for sale, and a meta tags description too if I wanted. Carrollwood real estate, save changes. Now I hit refresh. I refresh this page. And then go from there. Inspect element. Here I've got the header. And then here you can see my Carrollwood real estate for sale. Down here I'm using Firebug to inspect it. And then meta description is Carrollwood real estate. So I've been able to customize that page and make it search friendly, and it has the static URL or static keyword text for that specific subdivision. So, and can I request, the other question here is, can I request multiple or create searches across multiple subdivisions? Yes, the answer is yes for a specific MLS, because this is all for, this is for our MLS. If I wanted Houston in this case, that's the other one I have attached to this account, I would come in here and I'd choose Houston, and then I'd do it that way. So, and I could choose the advanced fields for Houston. Now we have core fields and advanced fields, and the core fields are set up in basic search. So if let's say I have multiple MLSs set up on my account, I could set up a search for Albany and then a low price, high price, and generate the link and say all properties in Albany, and it would search across both MLSs. So, yeah, and the same is true with map search and address search and listing search. It's advanced search that is where you choose the drop-down, and then you have to choose. Each MLS search field is different, has different values. So hopefully that provided some clarity on that one. So that's it for today's webinar. We've hit the 10 o'clock mark, and I appreciate you taking time out of your day to review IDX Broker with me, and I hope I've answered a lot of your questions. If I haven't and you have any more questions, please feel free to reply to that link that you received. And then in a day or two, you'll receive an email with a link to the YouTube version of this. And of course, you can post any comments there, or just send us an email, or give us a call if you have any questions. Again, if you do have questions, you can always go to idxbroker.com, and there's our phone number at the top. So once again, thank you for attending, and have a great day.